always say, whenever I'm asked how do I feel about June 16, is that I led, kids and I led students out of the classroom to be killed by the police, actually to be killed by their own fathers. I always say maybe Hector Peterson, Hastings Ndlovu would be fathers today, would be, grandfathers maybe today, but we let them out of those classrooms to be killed. There's usually a misrepresentation of the history of June 16. I know that now it becomes a sensitive issue, that now where and how did June 16 start? But June 16 in the first place was never an issue of a political party. We were all students who were influenced by then Black consciousness movement. The spirit of Steve Biko, black man, you are on your own.
We see a completely non-racial society. We don't believe, for instance, in the so-called guarantees for minority rights, because guaranteeing minority rights implies the recognition of portions of the community on a race basis. We believe that in our country there shall be no minority, there shall be no majority, there shall just be people. And those people will have the same status before the law, and they will have the same political rights before the law. So in a sense, it will be a completely non-racial egalitarian society.
Of apartheid vis-a-vis black people in South Africa is that black people, there was an era where the black leadership, the Mandelas, the Sisulus, were in prison or underground, the ANC and the PAC. Then there was a period in the South African history which now we always refer to as the period of lull. By lull, we mean that now there wasn't any black leadership per se.
Which is called by an Afrikaans word apartheid. And I'm afraid that has been misunderstood so often. It could just as easily, and perhaps much better, be described as a policy of good neighborliness.
And the guy called Verwoerd, who is the architect of apartheid, he actually said that education was so designed to make black people to see the greener pastures but not reach them. And that was the whole philosophy of apartheid. So people like Steve Biko in black consciousness said that's that mind that the Bantu education wanted to oppress. That's that mind that we must liberate first before we can even come up with your economic freedom or your other forms of liberation. June 13th, a Sunday afternoon at DOCC, students are meeting with having student representatives coming from different schools in Soweto high schools. They then elected the action committee. That meeting was not a very good meeting, very emotional meeting. But in that meeting, students then decided that now we are going to march on June 16. They then decided that let us elect student leaders. Then we formed students and then elected what was called Action Committee. The Action Committee, it was then me, it was Tsietsi Mashinini as the president, as the chair, myself, Seth Mazibugo, as the deputy to Tsietsi, Sbongile Ntembu, who's now Mrs. Mkabela and now with the Mandela Children's Fund, was the secretary. There was Mefi Morube. There was a guy called Silo Abrampule, a SAP, sounds terrible, South African Police, and there was also a voice guy called Linsui, and then we formed Action Committee.